Hi, I'm Ari. I'm a second year I'm a second year Spanish major, hopefully double majoring. And so I am living on campus. To take a COVID test, you pretty much just have to like fill out a form, and it's like a health form, and it just basically says like, oh, like, do you have any symptoms? Have you been in contact with anyone like in the 2 weeks period? And you choose one or the other, and then it's like you're cleared to go on campus. And then once you get to the Pentland Bear Cave, that's where you take like the fit and go test. And it's not that weird, to be honest. Like, you just go and they give you like a little like tube, and then once you get the tube, you just go outside and like you spit into the tube until you get to like a certain point on the tube, and then you just drop it in a little like hazard box, and you're good to go basically. Like, nothing is open on campus. That's kind of one of the, obviously, like when you get to camp, like at least my freshman year, I'm assuming like everyone else's like freshman year, like campus was pretty much open. You could do anything. Like, you could go to the pool if you lived on campus, or you could go to the gym, and like you you get out of the apartments and everything's quiet. Um there's no like group of students like just walking around like messing around. um it's just empty, and it doesn't feel like it used to feel. Like, it's so lively. Like, it was amazing to be on campus, and now it's like, oh shoot, there's no one here. And you kind of feel like, at least I know I felt like weird walking on campus, like going to, like, let's say Scotty's to get snacks, or to the, what's it called, the Starbucks market, or where like the market is. And like it's empty. There's like obviously like the distance little circles they put on the ground, and it's so weird. I don't know, it just feels empty, like, like you're missing something. So for Glenmore, you can have either, what is it, single or double occupancy in the room. At least for my apartment, and at least from what I've heard recently from like other people in the Discord, it's the same for them. So it's four people in the apartment, and there's only one person per bedroom. So there's no double occupancy in the bedrooms. So I know for Glenmore that's the case. It's either you get four rooms, four people, two rooms, two people. I'm pretty sure that's the same case for other apartments off campus. And I'm pretty sure it's the same case for dorms, because I know dorms that used to be double or triple occupancy are now single occupancy, and you're only getting charged. I think you're getting charged what you would be charged for triple occupancy, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, they're just, that's the case for right now. So a lot of people, when you had roommates, because I moved in with my roommates, or one of my roommates, so it was easier for me to get to know someone for the apartments. Whereas I know now for like the people in the dorms, it's a little bit harder to talk to people since they don't really have a roommate anymore. But at least for us, that's the case. I'm not sure about other off-campus apart or, well, on campus and off campus, so like Bannockburn, the falls and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure it's the same thing as Dunmore. There isn't really a protocol for when you go home. Usually housing does discourage you at the moment from going home, if or going home often. It's like, if you can, like, if you don't have to go, then like don't go, obviously. But like, some people miss their families, I'm included. Like, I miss my mom a lot. So usually what I do, and like I'm pretty sure what my roommates do, is we obviously let each other know, like, hey, I'm going home for this weekend. Do y'all need anything? If not, blah 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 blah. And so we'll go home. Obviously, before I go home, I always get a COVID test. I usually go home once or twice a month on the weekends. Um, right now, I've been keeping it strictly to like once a month. But I get the COVID test, and I make sure to wait till I get my results, so they'll get there in like 24 to 48 hours. And then once I'm in the clear, I'll like call my mom, like, hey, I'm gonna go home this weekend. Can you come pick me up or something? And she will, and then we'll get home. Like, I don't get to see her that often. So I only get to see her like Friday night and like Saturday morning. And so we spend as much time as we can here, and then I'll go back to the apartments. I'll let them know beforehand, and then I get back, and so Monday or Tuesday, I'll usually go get the COVID test after it's been like a day or two, and then at least for me, that's pretty much it. We had a new dining hall open, Glasgow. Yeah, it. I've only been there once, and I've ordered off the online menu thing twice, and it is pretty safe. Like, you are socially distanced. Um, it's it's pretty safe. So like, if anyone else were to like, if anyone else is like being scared of like living on campus, like because of like the dining hall per se, like they shouldn't be scared because the they've actually done a good job like at keeping the dining hall like safe and like people like socially distanced, and there's like a hand sanitizer like literally like at the front entrance, I think. So it's pretty safe in that sense. For future people planning on living, or students planning on living on campus, and incoming freshmen as well, my best advice would be to really make sure that the people you're living with, you actually feel comfortable around them, and you actually are able to communicate things with them, because in the long run it's going to affect you both physically and mentally, and it's just going to get to a point where you're like, I can't do this anymore. So obviously, like, set up like from the start, once you get your roommates, once you know who they are, try to message them, and just get to know them to make sure they're a good fit for you. And if not, you can always get a new roommate. Pretty sure housing is really, I'm not actually sure, but I'm pretty like housing is kind of, they're able to help you if you can't fix things with your roommate. They're able, like, I think, to move you from your room. And if you're planning on getting an apartment, Discord is a really, there's a UCR Discord where you can actually find roommates. There's like a specific like little roommate thing on the Discord, and so you can obviously be like, hey, like, I'm an incoming freshman, or blah 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 blah. I'm looking for a roommate or two, and that's kind of one of your best bet. Reddit, Wildfire. If not, you can always just go on Instagram and like search for people and find a roommate through there. So there's a lot of ways and stuff. The involvement on campus, I personally feel like it's not as it was last year because everything's online. I don't really attend any of the things like the RAs or the program advisors do, because no one else joins, and it just feels awkward being in like a Zoom breakout room with someone. So like, it's just COVID really like ruined a lot of things, and one of the things was like being able to interact with other people, at least my second year. So it's a bit of a hassle, and you are kind of socially like, what's it called, socially isolated. But I mean, what can you do? It's just to be safe and like to not have other people like get COVID and go through who knows what. One of the consequences that I've heard for breaking, I guess, COVID protocol at the moment is just basically like I think they give you a warning at first, like usually they do with every other thing that you break. And then the second time is like you get written up, and probably like the third would be they kick you out of the apartment. I wouldn't know though, because we've never had someone like actually break protocol and like them send it like a whole like message on the Discord. Like, my roommates and I, we get along pretty well. There's only 3 of us in the apartment. There's supposed to be 4, but she's not here. One of them isn't here, and so it's just been us 3 since September, and we get along really well. Like, we put like our boundaries. since obviously we can't have people over, we've kind of just like been us. It's been us three, and usually when one of us goes home, like we'll let like the other know, and around the same time, like when we'll be back, so we can all go get like a COVID test just in case like one of us came back like, oh, I was near someone that was infected. Like I should let you guys know because we live together and stuff like that. So at least for me, my experience, like we've been pretty open about that, and I love my roommates. Like they're amazing. Can't I pretty sure the same thing can't be said for other people because I've heard like countless experiences where like their roommates are just it's not a good setting. It's not a good like area for them. But at least for me, my roommates have been pretty cautious about COVID. So I haven't had like any bad experiences about that. So that's pretty good. In a case where the people you move in with and they're not COVID, what is it, cautious? COVID something? Um, Definitely talk to them about it. And if you can't fix the situation, then I say try to move out of the situation. If you can't break your contract for any reason, like just have a talk with housing. If you can, and housing will definitely help you out in any way that they can. And yeah, other than that, like you just keep staying safe, you keep using a mask, you keep like, being as safe as you can because you can't really talk for anyone else. And so it kind of sucks because, like you're living in a situation with like someone that isn't COVID safe, then when you go home, you're gonna like infect your family, and that's not what you want. So definitely talk to them about it and try to get them to see your point of view and stuff like that. And if that doesn't work, like talk to housing and then see what works from there. If not, like your best bet is to go home, sadly. Honestly, the safety on campus is a really big issue for me personally, just because you have the people that follow the rules and then you have the people that don't follow the rules. And because the people who don't follow the rules, you can basically end up getting COVID because of them. So it's kind of a 50-50. And honestly, the apartments, I personally feel like they aren't really safe because you don't really have anyone at the front door like saying like, oh, like, do you live here? Do you live here? So basically anyone who has access to your ID card or your keys can go into the apartment, or you can bring someone in. So it's not really safe. Other than everyone who I've seen personally, like they do wear masks. So like it is in a way safe. It's just you don't know who's coming in or not. Like we had an experience where one of my friends was like, oh yeah, I was or my roommate, she was leaving my our apartment, and she saw someone who literally we didn't know lived there, and he was kind of just like near the elevator. And she kind of when she came back to the room, she was kind of like, oh, like, he doesn't live here. We don't know how he got in. Like it was kind of just like really weird, and he wasn't even wearing a mask, so it was like, oh shoot. So yeah, I don't personally don't think the apartments are that safe. They could do a lot more, but I do understand like why they're not doing as much, I guess you could say. Since being in the apartment, I've actually been able to pick up on a lot of more shows that I need to watch. I've been asking my friends for anime recommendations, and that's been like so helpful. So there's never really like a dull moment for me because I'm always like I always have something to watch. I always have something to like, keep like me like not bored. I've also been cooking a lot more. I've been like checking on like out recipes on like TikTok, Instagram, like just searching the web for anything. And that's honestly like that's kind of been a hobby of mine. I also tried baking, but that doesn't really turn out well for me, at least. I burnt cookies the other day. So but yeah, it's just been that. I've been wanting to paint, but painting supplies are really expensive. I just realized that. And so I've just been, cooking, watching shows, and obviously like still like catching up on my schoolwork. But yeah.